Hello! Today we're going to be talking about Indicator 13. This is for Grace College's SED 4430 course. My name is Shelby and I'm going to be guiding you guys along my notes for Indicator 13. So to begin, we're going to start with some background. And Indicator 13 is the percent of youths with IEPs age 16 and above with an IEP that includes appropriate, measurable post-secondary goals that are annually updated and based upon an age-appropriate transition assessment. Transition services, including course of study that will be reasonably enable the student to meet those post-secondary goals, and annual IEP goals related to the student's transition services needs. There also must be evidence that the student was invited to the IEP team meeting where transition services are to be discussed, and evidence that, if appropriate, a representative of any participating agency was invited to the IEP team meeting with the prior consent of the parent or student who has already reached the age of majority. Indicator 13 is part of the 2004 IDEA, and within this there are 20 different compliance indicators. They are useful to measure how well schools are following rules and regulations, and Indicator 13 covers transition. Next, we're going to talk about how this is integrated into transition planning. Indiana is on a 3-year rotation for monitoring, so every 3 years they look at the IEPs that have Indicator 13 on it and make sure that it is in compliance of everything. The target for Indicator 13 is 100%. There are 8 key things that include integration and transition planning. So the first is measurable and appropriate goals. So we want to make sure that the goals can be measured over time and they're appropriate for the student. It has to be updated annually based on transition assessments. So we want to make sure that they do assessments over education, employment, and, if necessary, independent living to see where students are at. The transition services need to enable students to reach goals, because the whole thing is you want to help the student reach their goals. This also includes the course of study enabling students to reach their goals. So this can include some special education services or something specific to independent living skills. Annual goals are then related to the transition needs. The student is invited to IEP meetings, and it has to be evident on the IEP that this happened. And then there also has to be proof that, if applicable, any agency representatives were invited to the IEP meetings. Next, we're going to talk about how this is applied. So we begin with transition assessments. So these are going to cover the 3 domain areas within transition. So education, employment, and independent living. So they could take like a self-survey, or a teacher or parent could do an observation and just see where they're at with these 3 skills. Next are post-secondary goals that align to, again, the 3 areas of education, employment, and independent living. Next is instruction related to the 3 again, and services related to education, employment, and independent living. Now we're going to talk about how students benefit from Indicator 13. So this is taken from the Transition and IDEA 2004 book by Carol A. Kakar-Bryant. So students are more involved in their life and planning. They gain self-esteem and confidence, which is really important for high schoolers as they begin transitioning. They are working on their self-advocacy skills and building those up, and then they're more than likely going to be better adjusted to adult roles. Indicator 13 is really important for special educators to be knowledgeable about, because even if you're going to be working with elementary age students, you need to know that in their future they're going to be working on transition planning, and hopefully you can help them a little bit with one of the areas. I hope you learned something today in my video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Have a great day.